just an ordinary person, but I've been able to see the amazing power of love change the lives of special needs orphans in Uzbekistan. It's been a journey of 23 years, and I am so grateful for the partnership, the kindness, and the hospitality of the Uzbek people. When my husband and I started to work in the western region of Uzbekistan, Pakistan, together with the local eye hospital to bring preventative eye care to the people there. It was a very beautiful experience. And, the really cool thing that I learned from these people is hospitality. Uzbekistan is a land of hospitality. And, after a long day of working and screening children, our friends would invite us to their homes. And those tables, there was like no place to put any more food. Their tables were full of food, and it really touched my heart that they would kill their sheep for us, or their turkey, and we would have these huge kazans of ash and beshbormak. It's beautiful. For me, it's like what I learned from the Uzbek people, what I received from the Uzbek people was much more than what I gave to them. It was truly beautiful. I was soon after some time, I was invited to a local Tashkent orphanage with children with special needs. And this is just like right up my alley. I really love to work with vulnerable children, and I just think they're just so beautiful, because in them lies this beautiful ability and possibility. They're like these little flowers that are like tight, but when they're given that chance to be who they were meant to be, when they're given that chance to express themselves, they bloom into these beautiful little flowers. Well, I was walking down the hallway of the orphanage, and I looked into one of the playrooms. There was, our eyes met. It was a little boy named Tilla. And Tilla was sitting there. He was looking a little bit bored. And I was carrying a bag of different toys and things to distribute at the orphanage. And so I thought, well, I'll get him a big string and some large beads so that he can string them. But then as he unfolded his arms and he kind of pressed towards me to look at me, I could see that he didn't have full hands. He didn't have any fingers except for one thumb. And then one side of his body was kind of less developed than the other, and he didn't have full feet. All of a sudden, I had this misconception that Tilla couldn't put the bead on the string. I thought, well, what good is that going to do if I give him a bead and a string? It's so wrong to give these have these misconceptions about persons with disabilities. But I gave him the bead with the string, and he was trying to put it together, and he couldn't do it. And he was trying and trying, so I sat with him, and it's like a couple hours passed, and he finally did it. He finally accomplished it. He put these beads on the string. And just to see his face and the expression on his face of joy and just being content, and that he was able to do something that he had never done before in his life, never had the opportunity to do before in his life. And there was such joy on his face. we continued to work and by invitation, we continued to work in that orphanage and opened several different classrooms, a music classroom, a special education classroom, a sewing center. And at first, people were just saying, are you crazy or what? What are they going to do with all this? But what is so awesome is that these kids from the orphanage, there's 400 special needs children in this orphanage, they proved those with the misconceptions wrong, because they can do what when people say, no, you can't do that, you'll never do that, you can't accomplish anything, your place is over here, not to be seen. But these children, they proved them wrong. They proved their misconceptions wrong. And it's so beautiful that the children at the orphanage, together with the government staff, we've been able just to see incredible changes in the lives of these kids and see that they have abilities that we didn't realize before. At one point, we had an opportunity to have a presentation at the orphanage, kind of to create awareness and of the abilities and the possibilities of the special needs children. In this presentation, we put all of their classwork out on the tables, their beautiful pictures on the walls, and we invited people to come and to see what they had done. And I remember it was like such a joy for me to look at the people's faces who came, because there was surprise, there was shock, there was joy to see what these children had accomplished. And one man, he came to me. He came up close to me, and he had like kind of a stern face, and I was thinking, oh no, what's going to happen? What's he going to say to me? But he was just holding back until he got to me, and then he held my hand, and with tears in his eyes, he said, I didn't think this was ever possible. I didn't think it was possible for these children to ever learn and to do the same thing that my kids do. Misconceptions are more crippling than disabilities. Watching these kids grow and develop, it has been, it continues to be such a joy in my life, and to work with such committed, loving staff that truly want to see these children achieve their dreams and their hopes and their goals. It's just been my privilege. One of the sad things for me is that when the children, when they reached the age 17, they were going to be moved to an adult institution because they aged out of the children's institution. So this is really hard for me, because I really love these guys. I love watching them grow. I love being with them. And I didn't know what their future was going to be. I didn't know. And it was a little bit, it was really hard for me. And I cried. And I remember I would come home and I would just cry and on my husband's lap and think, what can we do? And you know what, a really wonderful thing happened, that the government partnered with us to open a transition center that would give these young people the possibility to continue to grow, to learn social skills, social, independent, and vocational skills, and that they would have a chance at achieving that dream of integrating into society. You know, all our kids, they have dreams. They have dreams of integration, of being with everybody else, having a job like everybody else, having a family like everybody else. Because they're disabled, they don't even look at themselves. I can say they don't even look at themselves as persons with disabilities. In fact, I was listening to one of our young adults. Well, why do people, look at us the way like we're disabled? We can do more than they can do, and it's true. It's true. These kids have, at the transition center, they have grown so much. They have learned independent living skills. They take care of their own apartments. They write their own menus of healthy food. They prepare their meals, their own meals. They're self-disciplined to do their homework and to get their different duties or jobs done during the day. And then they study outside. And for like a person like Tilla, he had a dream to be a jewelry designer. This is what Tilla made. But this isn't only one piece. Tilla has made many creative, beautiful pieces of jewelry. And that is what lies in the heart of the person with disabilities, this creativity that is like clamped up but needs to be encouraged by all of us, that they could be who they were meant to be, that they can have a dream and see it come true. Another young lady in our transition center, her name is Alla. And I asked Alla, we ask each of the young adults, we have 15 young adults at the transition center, and I asked Alla, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What vocation do you want? And she said, Cindy, I really want to be someone that does massage for others. And I was thinking in my mind again, like this kind of misconception, like, wow, that is huge. That's huge. She has to learn a lot about the body, the bones, the muscles, and that ugly misconception that wants to kind of come in our minds and say they can't. Alla did. Alla completed her class. She completed her course. She was announced the best in her class, and she does an incredible massage. And she achieved her dreams. Love. Love is amazing. The power of love and giving love is amazing. And that love that reaches down into the heart, into the lives of others, where there's despair, where there's misconception, where there's hurt and pain and loneliness. And that love comes and it breathes life and joy and creativity. It's the most beautiful thing to see a life that was crushed, was seemingly crushed, and then come into this place where they're happy and functioning as any other person. Love sees in us what we can't see in ourselves. Love sees in us what we do not see in ourselves. Thank you.